Good morning. What a beautiful morning it is in sunny Ditcham. We're just about to take Hank for his dog walk, and today's the day we're going to look to move the boat further upriver and try anchoring in a place called White Rock. And we're going to try and do some of that under sail, see how that goes. It's a bit tricky, but as I say, we want to try and spend more time working the sails in less comfortable situations than we used to, try and build up some skills.
We can start slowly. We'll motor off this mooring, get ourselves pointed in the right direction, then we'll, yeah?
Perfect.
All right, okay, so compromise. It's all about compromise, ladies and gentlemen. Hank, back of the deck for you. Right, you ready? All clear? We have wind in our sail.
Kind of, yeah. I think the tide's carrying us a little bit. We're doing 1.8 knots.
1.8 knots, that's a respectable speed up a river.
Yeah.
We have wind in our sail. This is the first time we've been allowed forward when we've been sailing, isn't it, mate?
Yeah.
I've just got a feeling that at this precise moment in time, we're not in any clear and present danger, so it's okay. No reprimanding will be taking place now. Don't get used to it. Four and a half knots of wind, 16-ton old boat, and we're in no rush. It's good. There's no rush. What's the advice all these old sailors keep giving us? Take your time. Just go slow. But we've got plenty of time to take it all in. I mean, look at it.
It's beautiful.
You could etch it on the forefront of your mind, mostly because we've had so long looking at it. This may take a while. 1 knot. How many miles do we have to go?
Well, what should have been a 15-20 minute journey is now turned into an hour and a half journey.
Well, I think these are important lessons that need to be learned. So if it means doing them in slow motion, I think that's...
The tide is going to take us the other side.
Look at that there. Okay, they probably need a little bit of trimming, but yeah, they need a bit of trimming. Let's trim it. There are 0 knots coming from the west. Let's see if the drone can pick up how spectacularly unspectacular our journey is.
Something telling me the shape of that sail says it's not doing anything.
You think that's suboptimal? Is that what you're saying?
I would say the tide.
You think my sail trimming isn't the main propulsion that we have going right now?
Unfortunately not, no.
You know, how are we ever going to build my confidence if all you ever do is put me down in shape of my sails? They're never good enough. How does it feel to be allowed up here for the first time ever when the sails are up? Don't go getting used to it, mate. This is a one-off. okay, or one off. I just had this weird gut feeling that there wasn't going to be any grave danger ahead for you. Yeah. How's your foot? Okay. Alright. A bit sensitive about your feet. I get it. Okay. No worries. Good chat. So how deep is this water that we're motor sailing down?
Well, chart datum is 4.5, varying, and we should have about 4.3 metres of water at high tide, which is about half an hour, 45 minutes.
Okay. And I suppose because we're coming into spring, so the water should be quite deep.
Yes, although low tide. I wonder if we'll get stranded in the dinghy. Should be alright.
Depends where you get stranded, I guess.
Yeah.
We could get stranded in a vineyard.
That would be ideal.
Yeah. I mean, you know, if it has to happen, I suppose. Not sure how I feel about this flaccid sail as a backdrop, but we are just, there's a really thin channel which Carly's just gingerly working her way down as we go further upriver, and it gets shallower and shallower. But we are very close to the river bank and a few more smaller boats. She probably won't appreciate the drone going up now. She gets funny about it when she's tense. Kind of makes me want to put the drone on. Well, shall we motor over where we think we're going to anchor?
Okay.
Scope it out.
Yeah. Cool.
And I will go and get everything ready up front.
Okay. And should I turn to face tide because you have no wind? Drop anchor or?
Yeah, the tide is still flooding, isn't it? And there's no wind, so yeah, I'd imagine pointing into the tide.
Yeah. So that the tide
and then
takes
the
us
tide
back.
will take us with yeah. Fine, sounds good. Looks like we've got the anchorage to ourselves, which is great. Now the tricky bit is the fact that we can only lay out twice the scope. There's just not the swinging room here to let 4 times your scope out. So some of the locals and the harbour master have just sort of said to us, look, let twice the scope out, and then if you bite, keep a good eye, set your anchor alarm, keep a good eye on it, and if you need to let a bit more out, do, but don't go mad because you'll end up on the bank. So yeah, Carly and I are going to get to work, and hopefully we don't mess this one up. And now we wait. Just one last thing. We decided just to watch the sunset and set up for dinner. So got a nice little spot, and then the ascent. I knew this thing would come in handy eventually. More like Carly said, it would come in handy eventually. Oh, maybe one day, Hank, our channel will be so successful, I'll be able to afford Peronis. One day.
So next we're going to head upriver, where, believe it or not, it actually gets even more spectacular, which I didn't think was possible, but it does. And then as we head up the river, we're going to stop off at just a gorgeous vineyard perched on top of a hill, looking down onto this just magnificent location. It's breathtaking. But before we do, this is normally the part of the video where I'll jump in and I'll say to everybody, hit the subscribe button, don't forget the notifications bell, and I don't want to do that this week. I'm not going to do that this week. In fact, just forget I even mentioned it. I'm going to ask for something very, very specific. And that is to hit the share tab. No one ever hits the share tab. It's probably our least pressed button. Maybe that's because it's not obvious, or we don't talk about it, or don't mention it, or people don't know it exists. But for every video we make that gets 10,000 views, we probably get 5 or 6 shares. It is just an ardent, hardcore following, I think, of people that hit that share button week in, week out. And to those people out there who do hit that button religiously, I just want to say thanks, Mum. But I'd like to change that. We'd like to change that today. So that's my request. If you get any enjoyment out of these videos, if it passes 15 or 20 minutes of the day, if you think, oh, I'd like to do a little something to sort of help these guys in their pursuit to punch up, then that is the button to hit today. That would be amazing. Amazing. If you know anyone in your social media circle who also enjoys sailing or boats or the idea of living on a boat or watching this adventure unfold, think there's even just one person on your social media circle think, oh, they might like that too. Just anyway, that's all I've got to say on that. I've made my case. Now let's head upriver.
So whilst Carly's driving us down to the vineyard, we are heading to the vineyard at this time specifically. It's about midday and the tide is rising and we're just catching the last of the rising tide. So we've got a little bit of momentum to take us there. But also that means the water's going to be high enough that we can moor the boat up, step on shore and spend a couple of hours drinking some wine, tasting some cheese and having a look around. And then the boat should still be easy enough to get back onto to take us back just as the tide is ebbing, hopefully at that point as well. So a little bit of miniature passage planning to go check out the vineyard. All right, young one. You ready? Up you go. You know how to do it. So now we just need to find our way to the vineyard, although there only seems to be one path, so there's no real excuse for getting lost. Cheese and wine, cheese and wine. Just follow your nose. Though I don't think he's old enough to have wine yet, is he? But the cheese, he can have a bit of cheese.
Well, he's old enough, but grapes kill dogs. We probably won't give him any.
Okay, there's that too, I guess. Stickler for the rules, aren't he?
Sharpened house. The house was built between 1770 and 1824 with the money from Captain Pownall's capture of the Spanish vessel Hermione in 1762. Designed by renowned architect Sir Robert Taylor in a Neo-Palladian style and built from Portland stone. Gifted.
Portland stone?
Yeah, how cool.
Didn't travel too far, did it?
No.
Now I've numbered your choices 1 to 4 for you. Position 1, another tag, turn clockwise. So almost following the colour gradient until you end on the red.
Amazing.
And then the cheese. So we have lovely goat's cheese right there, Ticklemore goats, pairs very well with the charcoal cracker.
Okay.
And we have our lovely 2 yellow cheeses here. Both use our Jersey herd's milk, lovely full fat milk, it's a lovely brie. And some chili jam there too.
Fantastic.
You've been very helpful. Thank you very much.
Oh, you want to taste? It's getting all funny because you can see cheese on the table.
Oh, it's the cheese you want?
Yeah.
How about a bone?